With the world's largest nuclear arsenal and a fighting force that ranks among the top global powers, just how powerful is the Russian military in 2025?
Everybody know they're going! Hoorah! Everybody ready? Hoorah! Let's do this!
Having a long and storied military history, dating back to the days of the Russian Empire, Russia has proven itself time and again to be a formidable force on the global stage. But with the dramatic reshaping of the geopolitical landscape following the Ukraine conflict and ongoing international sanctions, how does this Eurasian power continue to adapt and maintain its military might? Join us as we delve into the complex transformation of the Russian armed forces. Over the past 2 decades, Russia has undertaken a remarkable journey from post-Soviet decline to ambitious modernization, only to face the harsh reality check of a major conventional war. This transformation has been driven by a determination to restore Russia's great power status and counter what it perceives as Western encroachment, not only in traditional domains, but also in the cyber and space realms. Russia's commitment to modernization reached a turning point in the late 2000s, particularly after the Georgia War revealed significant shortcomings. Under Putin and defense ministers Serdyukov and later Shoigu, the country embarked on a comprehensive reform program aimed at restructuring its armed forces. The goal was clear: to move away from the Soviet mass mobilization model toward a leaner, more professional force capable of rapid deployment and effective operation in modern conflicts. This included increasing the proportion of contract soldiers versus conscripts, restructuring command and control, investing heavily in new equipment, and transitioning toward a more responsive fighting force. The results initially appeared impressive. Before 2022, Russia acquired and showcased state-of-the-art equipment, from modernized T-72B3/B3M, T-80BVM, and T-90M tanks to Su-35 fighters and the limited deployment of Su-57 stealth aircraft. Artillery systems like the Tu-S-19 Nsta-S self-propelled howitzers and Tornado G/S multiple rocket launchers formed the backbone of Russian indirect fire capabilities. The Navy commissioned new Bory-class nuclear submarines and Admiral Gorshkov-class frigates, while missile forces deployed advanced systems like Iskander-M tactical ballistic missiles and Caliber cruise missiles with ranges exceeding 2,000 kilometers. The country also significantly bolstered its electronic warfare capabilities with the introduction of sophisticated jamming systems like Krasuka-4, Murmansk-BN, and R-330G Zhytel. Major modernization programs, such as hypersonic weapons development including the Vanguard glide vehicle and Zircon anti-ship missiles, showcased Russia's technological ambitions. But Russia's military prowess extends beyond hardware. The country has also focused on developing its cyber and information warfare capabilities, with the establishment of dedicated units operating under military intelligence. These investments reflect Russia's recognition of the evolving nature of conflict in the 21st century, embracing hybrid warfare concepts that blend conventional, asymmetric, and information operations. Russia's development of unmanned platforms has accelerated, with systems like the Orion medium-altitude long-endurance drone and various tactical surveillance systems being supplemented by Iranian-designed Shad loitering munitions known locally as Jiran-2. These modernization efforts have been supported by Russia's domestic defense industry, with key players like Rostec, United Aircraft Corporation, United Shipbuilding Corporation, and Almaz-Antey enabling technological advancements despite Western sanctions. Before the Ukraine war, Russia's military was widely regarded as having successfully recovered from its post-Soviet nadir, with increased professionalism and technological sophistication making it a formidable power once again. Fast forward to 2025, and the Russian military stands as a force of stark contrasts. With an estimated active personnel strength exceeding 1.1 million, bolstered by ongoing mobilization despite heavy casualties, and a defense budget consuming approximately 7% of GDP, Russia has transformed its economy to sustain the conflict. While not the largest conventional force in pure numbers, its nuclear deterrent and remaining technological capabilities make it a power that cannot be ignored. The Russian ground forces, despite heavy attrition, remain vast and increasingly focus on mass rather than technological edge. These include motor rifle and tank divisions equipped with a mix of modernized Soviet-era platforms and whatever newer systems can be maintained. The infantry moves in BMP-3 and modernized BMP-2M infantry fighting vehicles, alongside BTR-82, the armored personnel carriers, though losses have forced the reactivation of older models like the BMP-1. The artillery arm deploys Nsta-S and two S-35 Koletsaya SV self-propelled guns, alongside BM-21 Grad, BM-27 Eurasian, and BM-30 Smerch multiple rocket launchers, with guided munitions increasingly reserved for high-value targets. The once elite but now rebuilding VDV airborne forces, which suffered disproportionate casualties in the early phases of the Ukraine war, continue to operate BMD-4M airborne combat vehicles and Spret SD light tanks. The continued reliance on conscription, alongside increasingly coercive recruitment practices to replace losses, has impacted force quality and training standards. The Russian Navy presents a study in contrasts. Its strategic submarine force remains potent and continues modernization as the most survivable leg of the nuclear triad. This includes advanced submarines like the Bore-class ballistic missile submarines carrying RSM-56 Ulava SLBMs and Yasin-class cruise missile submarines armed with Caliber and Onyx missiles. The diesel-electric Kilo and improved Kilo Varshavyanka class submarines provide regional capabilities, particularly in the Baltic and Black Sea. However, the surface fleet, especially the Black Sea Fleet, has suffered significant damage and operational restrictions. The Slava-class cruisers, Udaloy-class destroyers, and newer Admiral Gorshkov-class frigates form the backbone of the remaining blue water capability, with naval aviation operating from land bases after the effective sidelining of the Admiral Kuznetsov carrier due to prolonged maintenance issues. The Navy's focus on strategic deterrence is evident in its continued investment in submarine platforms, while the development of additional Bore-as submarines showcases its future priorities. In the skies, the Russian aerospace forces operate a mix of approximately 1,200 combat aircraft, with a significantly reduced number of modern platforms following combat losses. The force centers around surviving Su-30SM, Su-34, and Su-35S fighters and strike aircraft, alongside limited numbers of the stealthy Su-57 Felon. The bomber fleet consists of the venerable Tu-95 NS Bear, the supersonic Tu-160 Blackjack, and the Tu-22 M3 Backfire, all upgraded to carry the latest cruise missiles. Rotary wing aviation includes the K-52 Alligator, Mi-28 Havoc attack helicopters, and the versatile Mi-817 transport/utility helicopters, though these have suffered significant attrition. The Air Force also maintains Il-76 transport aircraft, A-50U AWACS platforms, and Il-78 aerial refueling tankers, though in reduced numbers compared to pre-war inventories. Air Defense Forces operate the formidable S-400 Triumph and newer S-350 VJS systems, with the first S-500 Promedy units entering service despite production challenges. Complementing these three branches are the Strategic Rocket Forces, the fourth arm of the Russian Armed Forces. The Strategic Rocket Forces play a crucial role in nuclear deterrence, maintaining Russia's vast arsenal of intercontinental ballistic missiles, including the rogue mobile RS-24 Yars, Selo-based RS-28 Sarmat heavy ICBMs, and the revolutionary Vanguard hypersonic glide vehicle mounted on modified SCBMs. This branch has received consistent funding priority, ensuring Russia's nuclear deterrent remains credible even as conventional forces face constraints. These branches work together under increasing strain, guided by a doctrine that has evolved through painful wartime lessons. Russian forces now operate with a greater emphasis on firepower and attrition rather than the swift, sophisticated operations envisioned in pre-war doctrine, reflecting both combat experience and material constraints. The widespread adoption of loitering munitions and tactical drones, alongside purpose-built counter-drone systems like Repellent and Zeitel, demonstrates ongoing tactical adaptation. Russia's military has been almost entirely focused on the Ukraine conflict, with limited continued presence in Syria, peacekeeping forces in regions like Nagorno-Karabakh, and bases in Central Asia. From the initial invasion of Ukraine to ongoing operations, Russian forces have demonstrated both capabilities and significant limitations. Russia's deepening military relationships with countries like China, Iran, and North Korea have become increasingly important as it faces isolation from Western military cooperation, with technology transfers and component sourcing becoming critical to maintain production lines. Looking ahead, Russia's strategic posture remains dominated by the imperative to achieve acceptable outcomes in Ukraine while deterring further NATO involvement. Instability along its borders, competition for influence in post-Soviet states, Arctic resource disputes, and maintaining strategic nuclear parity with the United States all underscore the importance of maintaining military capability despite growing constraints. With its vast territory and determination to remain a great power, ensuring these strategic objectives is a top priority, and Russia's military continues to adapt to address these challenges despite severe limitations. However, Russia also faces unprecedented hurdles in maintaining and developing its military capabilities. Balancing ambitious strategic goals with the reality of equipment losses, sanctions, and economic strain presents an ongoing struggle. In 2025, Russia's approved defense budget, while massive in percentage terms, represents a significant burden on a sanctioned economy. While this reflects a wartime prioritization, sustaining this level of expenditure brings mounting economic consequences. Another issue is the depletion of pre-war stocks of modern equipment and the challenge of replacing complex systems under sanctions. As Russia's defense industry struggles with component shortages and quality control issues, maintaining technological parity with advanced Western systems becomes increasingly difficult. Production of key systems like precision-guided munitions, advanced targeting systems, and thermal imaging equipment has been particularly impacted by microelectronic sanctions. The manpower challenge has grown equally concerning, with difficulties filling conscription quotas and replacing specialist personnel losses without resorting to increasingly coercive measures, including recruiting foreign nationals with promises of citizenship. Despite these challenges, Russia's military is determined to remain a decisive factor in global security calculations. Its commitment to maintaining great power status and protecting what it perceives as vital interests continues to drive operations and modernization efforts, even at tremendous cost. Beyond traditional domains, Russia is also maintaining its capabilities in the cyber and space realms. Specialized units conduct both defensive and offensive cyber operations, while the space forces manage Russia's military satellite network, including the GLONASS navigation system and Tundra early warning satellites, highlighting Russia's continued focus on strategic capabilities even as conventional forces face constraints. The anti-satellite capabilities demonstrated in past tests remain a concerning asymmetric advantage, though their practical deployment remains unlikely outside extreme scenarios. In conclusion, the Russian military in 2025 is a powerful yet deeply stressed force. Through wartime adaptation, strategic prioritization, and a willingness to accept tremendous costs, Russia maintains its position as a major military actor despite significant setbacks. As the geopolitical landscape continues to evolve, Russia's military stands at a critical juncture, maintaining credible strategic deterrence while grappling with the long-term consequences of conventional force degradation, technological isolation, and economic strain. So the next time you think of Russia, remember that there's more to this nation than its vast geography and complex history. There's a military that combines strategic nuclear might with conventional limitations, determined to project power despite significant constraints, and fighting to maintain its status in a world increasingly aligned against its ambitions.